I was a 21-year member of the New York City Police Department. I spent 3 or 4 years in the Detective Bureau, got made detective, and then I was signed to the 113 Detective Squad in Queens for 5 years. Any day, something can happen. You show up to work, you think it's going to be a quiet Sunday, and the whole day goes into chaos. That's what happened on this day. I just graduated from the hostage negotiation school from the New York City Police Department, and it was a quiet Sunday morning when I received a phone call. They stated there was a hostage situation over on the Queens-Nassau border. So my partner and I drove over there. When we get to the scene, we had learned that a male who lived at home with his parents was kind of a combative, odd duck in the neighborhood, had gone on a shooting spree. Found out he had gotten into an argument with his father and shot him. A neighbor had heard shots, and he came over.
What the hell?
He then shot the neighbor. He placed both individuals in a shed within the backyard. This guy was kind of a local loan shark. He lent money to neighbors and kids, young adults. 2 of the people had gone back to pay their debt. When they got there, they got into a bit of an argument. They tried to leave. At that point, the individual grabs a gun and he starts shooting both of them. One of their friends was out front waiting in a car. He heard the shots fired. He comes to see what had happened. He sees that the 2 guys were dead in the house. He tries to run away. As he's running away, the shooter shoots him in the back and in the leg. This guy runs about 2 blocks away, and he stumbles into a church parking lot. A wedding party was just coming out of the church after their reception. They see this male stumble through the parking lot, all blood. People start panicking. Finally, somebody calls 911. Meanwhile, the shooter had taken his parents' car and was driving around Queens-Nassau. He parks the car and he starts trying to get into people's houses. Finally, he breaks into an elderly couple's home. He goes upstairs, he finds them in bed, and he takes them hostage. It was early Sunday morning, and a gardener had come to the residence to do some lawn maintenance. As he's walking up the driveway, he hears pop, pop. He doesn't realize what's going on. As he looks up, he sees a crazed man in the upper window on the 2nd story with a gun shooting him. He runs away and he calls the police. As the police officers are walking up to the house, they look up and they see a man in the window with a gun pointing at them. They retreat and they call for backup.
1085 Fort Wayne.
At that time, they realized this was the person who had shot the people in Queens. He had now taken these people hostage in Nassau County. When I got to the scene, the whole street was cordoned off. There was emergency service vehicles, there was police officers everywhere. We got into the command center, which was a house that was right next door to where the hostages were. When I got in there, I had learned that one of the negotiators had spoken to him and he confessed that he killed the people in the house. He stated that he was glad that he didn't hurt the gardener because the gardener had nothing to do with any of this, but the people that were in his house, they all deserved to die. He then got upset and he hung up the phone with the negotiator. I'm standing there, I'm the rookie negotiator. I'm not sure what to do, but the phone is there in front of me. I decide, what would happen if I just pick up the phone and I push redial? Maybe he'd get on the phone with me. I did it about 3 times, not thinking that the man would answer the phone. He got on the phone. I'm a nervous wreck because this is my first hostage job. I don't know what to do. And I start talking to this guy. Next thing you know, everybody's surrounding me. People are writing me notes. They're slipping me, telling me what to say. Ask him this, ask him that. I get into a conversation with him. I start trying to calm him down. I start trying to tell him, listen, you gotta let the people out of the house. He states that the older man in the house, that he was gonna let him go. He says, the guy is sick, I'm gonna let him go. Now I start talking to him saying, listen, you gotta let the woman out. He says, no, I'm not, can't let her out, I can't, I need her, I need the woman. We were into our 20th hour and we were all fried. We had 4 dead bodies on our hands. He was taking shots at us out the window. It seemed like it was never gonna end. The phone line was still open, but he wasn't talking anymore. I kept trying to get contact with him. I kept calling his name, nothing. We had learned from the emergency service cops that were out front that the woman had escaped. He had fallen asleep in the house and she ran out. About 20 minutes later, he gets back on the phone. I start saying, look, I said, she's gone. You have nobody else there. Come on, let's just end this. Come on out of the house, put your gun down. He says, no, I can't do that. At that point, he picks up his rifle and he starts shooting out the window at the cops that are out there. He didn't hit anybody, luckily, and the police officers who were surrounded the house, they didn't return fire. This went on for a couple of hours. Every once in a while, he'd stick his head out a window and he would shoot towards the police officers. About 10 o'clock that night, they decided that they were going to send in a robot. It's a safety issue. You want to send in the robot with the camera to look around and see what the situation is. He said, I don't want you to send a robot. Well, what does this robot look like? So I tried to make light of it after this time, talking to this guy for 12, 15 hours. I said, well, did you ever see the movie The Terminator? He goes, The Terminator? I said, yeah, the robot's a little bit like that. So why don't you drop your gun, come on out, and everything be okay. He starts asking me, please don't send in the Terminator. I don't want the Terminator. Please don't send the Terminator. I said, listen, I don't have a choice in this. If you're not going to surrender, if you're not going to drop your weapon, you're not going to come out, we're going to send in the Terminator. Maybe it would scare him, then maybe he would surrender, drop his weapon, and come out. At that time, the emergency service cops decided, so listen, this has been going on long enough, we're going to send the robot in. At that point, he seized the robot. He basically killed our robot. We lost contact with him for a couple of hours.
Come on, buddy. Time to come out. Enough people got hurt here today.
We tried negotiating through a bullhorn. They had spotlights on the house. Still, he wouldn't talk to us. Finally, early the next morning, he says to me, I can't do this anymore. I said, listen, this is great. Put the gun down. Nobody else is going to get hurt. We'll take care of you. I promise you, nobody will hurt you. He puts the phone down. At that time, we hear another shot fired. I try to talk to him. I'm calling his name. The emergency service cops outside, they get on a bullhorn. We don't hear anything. As they scanned the area there, they had found the male. He had shot himself in the head. After this ordeal, I went home exhausted. Being up for over 24 hours, I just went home and went to bed. Waking up the next day thinking this is all behind me now. Little did I know, 2 weeks later, the shooter's mother was found in the basement of their home, stuffed into a well. This brought the body count to 5 people.